to Studio F1 Fast Times Willy B. We'll be reviewing Gladiator II. Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds.
Wrestle!
Welcome back to Fast Times Willy B. I'm Willy B. I got Jesse back. Jesse, how we doing?
Good day. Feeling good after watching the second one.
So nonetheless, Gladiator 2 finally here. So we're going to complete the two-part here. And we got Ridley Scott back in the director's chair for the long-awaited sequel 24 years later. Cast-wise, we've got Paul Mescal playing Lucius. We've got Denzel Washington in this one. We've got Joseph Quinn. We got... Who else am I missing? Big name. That's it for the big names.
Yeah, Pedro.
Oh, Pedro Pascal. Yeah, so as a Cassius, pretty stacked cast. You know, he got the band together for this one. But and even outside of the big names, I mean, we had a lot of stellar performances. But we'll start with the good, and once again, it's just epic.
Yeah. I don't know what to say. We'll talk about the bad, but with the good, almost all of it. I say really almost the entire film. The fight scenes were, as I anticipated. The CGI, I thought it was good for the most part. Especially some of the fight scenes they tried to, the new age movies, try to steer away from practical effects, save some money in the budget. But they did a phenomenal job. The fight scenes were epic. A lot of sweet scenes that came out of it.
Yeah, I mean the fight scenes, just like in the first one, are the scenes where you really are immersed and captivated in what you're watching. Something that I thought was really cool about this one, the first movie is, obviously follows Maximus and his quest for revenge. This one follows a very similar storyline at one part. Mm-hmm. It's almost a two-parter in this film, because you got Lucius, who's on his quest for, revenge because his wife gets murdered by Cassius very early in this movie, the first opening scene. And it follows that same route. He becomes a slave of Denzel Washington. What's his name? Maximus or something like that?
Yep, Maximus.
And, so he's his slave turned gladiator, and he's trying to fight his way to the top. But the other part that's really cool about this movie is we're following Maximus and his pursuit of the throne as well, as he was once, owned by Marcus Aurelius and his army, and now he's trying to become the emperor of Rome in a more corrupt way, I guess you could say.
Back in the day, that's pretty much how you have to rise to power. For sure.
But it's interesting to see that we're almost seeing two quests for the throne, but one is the rightful heir, and one is, trying to get there because he wants it. And it was really cool to see that dynamic bounce back and forth, because throughout the first half of the movie, you kind of look at Denzel Washington as a good guy. Yeah,
you see him. He's just a person who, I referenced him to my buddy as I was sitting, just Dana White. He's gets these slaves and turns them into gladiators, and normal person's gonna see him. Hey, this dude's trying to take over the Roman Empire. Yeah, but you got to start somewhere.
He's just doing it for the love of the game. He says. You get a little. Remember the Titans coach speech there when he first sits down and talks with Lucius, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, Denzel, great performance.
This is up there. I mean, Denzel Washington's been in a lot of movies where his performance is what makes the movie, and yet again he never misses. Yeah, you know what you're going to get from him, and that's just top level acting.
Yeah, it was phenomenal.
Paul Mescal once again blew me away. I know After Sun is his big movie that kind of got him a start, and for me, honestly, I didn't love After Sun. I thought it was good for what it is, but what it was raved about. I really liked seeing him take on this big blockbuster lead role. I thought he did great as Lucius. Really, there was no knock anywhere in acting. I love what Stranger Things did for for Joseph Quinn, because I mean we've seen him.
Great job too.
I mean he did Quiet Place. He did this. He has Fantastic Four coming. So good to see him getting set up and things working out for him, because I've loved him in everything I've seen him in, and once again, I mean he was great as the more sane emperor.
Yeah, Todd.
Kind of cool too to have that dynamic of two emperors.
I kind of got a little foggy in there how they came to power, because I think they came right after Commodus was killed in the first one, because they tried going into the just the Senate, and that's essentially what Lucius wants. He wants what Maximus wanted, then Marcus Aurelius wanted. They all wanted to the Senate. They didn't want like a sole power.
Yeah.
But now you have these two emperors, and both are pretty insane. I mean, both pretty crazy. One's a little crazier than the other.
Yeah.
We'll talk about him, a little later. But yeah, they talk about his they were born together like twins or something, and in the woods, and I don't know. It was kind of
I agree. It's a little foggy, but I liked having the two emperors. I thought it was a cool dynamic.
Yeah.
So if you're comparing the two movies, I think something that this movie did better is that opening scene.
Yeah,
Not to knock the opening scene. Like, I love the opening battle we get when we have the Roman Empire fighting a war, and obviously Maximus is a big part in the win. But this one, I mean, just the choreography, the implications, the weapons we see.
Yeah, and a lot of similarities too. Like in the first one, Maximus, they win that battle. And that's when the whole thing, Commodus kills his wife and son. And in this one, Lucius actually his wife, because he, his mother sent him away. And so he's in this country defending it from the Roman Empire. And his wife is an archer with him. And, that's when Cassius points at her, tells his soldiers to end up killing her. So you still see that revenge plot, start, and then it really gets, as the movie goes, you see Acacius has, underlying things he's trying to do.
Yeah.
Maximus, everybody's trying
This movie was the definition of don't let them know your next move.
Yeah.
Because, Acacius gets back after, taking down this city, and you think, okay, Acacius is the bad guy of this movie. Then you find out Acacius is married to Lucilla.
Yep.
And then that they're planning to overthrow, and then this whole time you're following Denzel and you're like, oh, he's a good guy. That's, you kind of feel like maybe he's on the same side as Cassius Lucilla. No, he wins the house and gets told the truth, and he, betrays them and tells the emperors that what their plan is.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden you're like, okay, Denzel's the bad guy. Now Cassius and Lucilla are, just moments away from dying. It's just, you never know what was going to happen next.
That's what I loved about it, because one of my all-time favorite, TV shows is Game of Thrones, and, you get a lot of similar, not like plot lines, but, you don't know what's going on. You really don't know what to expect with, who's going to become the next emperor, what's going to happen, who's going to die here, what's going to happen then. It's just, I love that part of the film.
And even with Denzel's character, too, like, he tells the emperors their plan, and you're like, oh, he's just being loyal to the throne. Yeah. You still don't understand what he's trying to do.
Yeah, until he
goes to
he sits down
the
with
insane
Lucius.
brother, and he's like, well, yeah, he talks to Lucius, but he sits down with the insane brother, and he's like, he's going to tell them that it's all your fault. Yeah. And then that leads to them It's just... And nothing contradicts each other. You know what I mean? Like, everything fits within the story, as complicated as it is. Again, kudos for the writing and the direction.
Yeah, the writing was phenomenal. It was real good. Yeah.
Very happy with what I watched.
Yeah, I'd say I could talk about the good all day. I really, because there's just so much to get into. So many different plot
costumes,
fights. The battle, the sea battle inside the Colosseum, probably up there with, better than.
I love him putting on Maximus's shield, and that's what saves him from the stab. That final fight too is really good, and his speech at the end when they all start going, that was gives you goosebumps. This movie, there was several moments where hair stood up.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed, because like the first one, as if you watch the first review. Like I said, there's so many memorable quotes. I'm still quoting it to this day, and that's kind of one thing you don't get in this film. You don't get those memorable quotes. You have like those memorable scenes and stuff you can reference, but you don't have things you can sit there and just quote out from the movie.
I think the biggest one's Strength and Honor.
Yeah, Strength and Honor. The death one, he says a couple times for death we are not.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I mean the poem. I guess if you memorize the poem.
Yeah, but I mean.
That's a long quote.
Yeah, I'm no poet. So
I'm no poet.
I said that was kind of cool too because that was
the connecting piece to Lucilla.
Lucilla finding out that because she didn't know that he was even still alive until she saw him do Maximus's he put the sword in the dirt, pick down and grab some dirt. She saw him do that. And then the Emperor, he actually recited that poem to the Emperor. It's a cool poem, so you have to watch the movie. I don't know it, word for word, but she kind of puts the dots. Then Maximus, he already had his suspicions, and then he starts putting the dots together, and that's when you kind of start figuring out his plan because once he finds out that Lucius is alive and sole heir to the Roman Empire,
he realizes that's his only threat.
Yeah.
Because the two bimbos running right now are a threat.
Then one of the craziest part is when he gets the brother to kill the other brother. The insane one's in power, and he has a pet monkey. He puts the pet monkey, in first citizen. I think is what they call it.
Something like that. Yeah, first council.
Yeah. And then,
and that's why that scene is so powerful too, where he comes and he's like, "Do we need to kill her? Is it necessary to kill Lucilla?" He's like, "She's the only thing threatening the throne."
Yeah, with her still alive, you'll never know.
The Emperor has no idea what he means by that, but Maximus knows that if she's alive and she knows Lucius is alive, they're a threat to the throne.
And they just needed, I'll say, the power, like in that Roman time, the power comes from the people, or the mob is what they call it, because if they don't, like what's going on, they turn into a mob, and that's why so many emperors were overthrown and killed back in the day, but that was his whole plan along. He wanted, that mob to come up and get mad at the crazy one, and he was going to end up killing the other one, and he has power. Another quote from Game of Thrones is power, and that's kind of his whole principle. He got control of the army, and that's all you need in the Roman Empire.
The scene preceding the murder of Joseph Quinn's character, where it's we finally get the battle between Acacius and Lucius, and he gets bowed down. That was powerful too, where he's talking about like if this guy is has no honor, then what does that make you guys basically?
I'll say, and the other craziest part is like Maximus is so like just in the movie so calculated because the way he got his foot in this like Senate in the first place is he found Lucius and he like knew he was going to be a great gladiator, but then he started making bets with the one senator
is it Thrax or something like that?
Yeah, like that. He's like one of the head senators, and they kind of like back in the day a whistleblower now, there's always one person who knows what's going on everywhere, and that's him. Well, he got him in his debt, and after that, he just owned him, and that's when he found out
I don't own you, but I own your house and want your loyalty. Yeah. Yeah, that was really good. Just a lot of it was good. Very complicated story, but at the end, it all wraps itself up.
It's complicated, but not like too hard to follow. I mean, it draws you in like the first one. Like it's a long movie. It's 2 hours 25 minutes.
And it again doesn't feel like that. Very well paced. Very well paced. Yeah, we can go on and on with the good, but I think maybe we should try to knock out some of the things.
We'll go. A couple of my another favorite
music
battle
was good.
Scene. Yeah, music was good, but another battle scene is they brought in another champion, like how they did the first one. The Tigers from the first one, they brought in this champion. Dude came out riding a rhino. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So that's CGI. So we'll go. If we're going into the bad, we might as well.
I don't have anything the bad, but we can hop over to the meh. This is another movie where there's nothing bad with it.
Yeah, no bad.
There's nothing I'd say is bad. Some I'd put in the meh is probably the historical inaccuracies. They didn't have sharks.
Yeah. Actually, I've heard a couple.
I read into it because I was really interested to see like
no sharks. I know they
had naval battles.
Yeah,
there's no way to transport
inside.
sharks.
I'll say inside the Colosseum.
They did naval battles with fresh water, and they usually would have water buffaloes. Yeah, is what I read. I guess. And the other one was baboons. They didn't have any fights with that, but I loved that scene.
That was sweet.
The reason I put that in the meh is because yes, it's historically inaccurate. But it made for such good cinema.
Yeah, I mean, not all movies gonna be 100%.
Yeah,
but it just
apparently the baboon scene was because Ridley Scott was in Africa and he saw somebody try to pet a baboon and the baboon attacked. Okay. Yeah, and that was his inspiration to put him in the Colosseum.
Those things are crazy.
Like that's his story to put him into the Colosseum.
Never know.
So that's why I put it in the meh because Is it 100% accurate? No, but at the same time, it made for a good scene.
Yeah, it was a good touch.
And then I'd put some of the CGI here. The opening scene, the water doesn't look great, and then in the naval battle, the close-ups on the sharks didn't look great. Yeah. But I don't put it in the bad because there was also a lot of good CGI.
Yeah, it's not something that you you see a glimpse of a couple sharks, and you can tell like, hey, that's not a real shark, but that's not what the drawing, the focal point is. That's why it's not bad.
So I've seen like some of the reviews on Letterboxd. People are really taking it hard that they had sharks and rhinos and baboons in this movie because it's not historically. I'm like, yeah, it's a movie though.
Yeah,
the movie didn't start with based on a true story. I get like the concept, like Marcus Aurelius is a real person and all. Like I get that it's got substance to the real Roman Empire, but at the end of the day, it's a fictitious movie, and so like. I had fun with it.
And how do we know? Like those emperors back in the day.
If the sharks in the naval scene are really bumming you out that much, go watch Wicked.
Go watch a different movie. When people start pointing things out like that, that's how you know it's not a bad film. Yeah. When they start nitpicking about, I don't like this movie because there was a shark in the water.
Somebody gave it a 2.5 out of 5, and they said sharks weren't in the naval battles, and I'm like, I can get behind saying that's that's something that it's a historical inaccuracy, but it's not going to take this below a 9 for me. Like this is still a great movie.
It wasn't cool seeing Lucius kick a dude off the boat and a shark come up and
it's cinema, dude. It's a theater experience. Like I thought it was cool. I also love sharks. So
I'll say.
Sharks and dinosaurs.
They probably could have put,
they could have thrown a dinosaur in there and I'd be like, hell yeah! Like, we got Jurassic Park meets Gladiator.
Velociraptor in there. That would have been
cool. But, nonetheless, I'll mention the historical inaccuracies, I guess, in the Mad, but for the most part, man.
Then it makes up with it, which I think was miles ahead just because the time the movie came out and the stuff they didn't have all the stuff back in the day is just the visuals, like the cinematography and visuals, like just the armors, the cloths. It was just all so nice.
But that's really it for me in the Mad. I don't have anything in the bad. This is just another one. I thoroughly enjoyed it start to finish, and I'm very happy with what Ridley Scott did after 24 years.
Yeah, I'll say there's. Maybe I wish when he would have put the armor on, he would have had the helmet, Maximus's helmet.
That's true. I could have gotten behind that.
But besides that, I'm mad I didn't bring it. I actually got a cup of Maximus's armor from the theater, so I should have brought it.
We got the Coliseum and the helmet in the house here, the popcorn buckets.
Yeah. It's a cool.
Cost me a check.
Yeah, so I was gonna get both, but I looked at the price tag on the bucket, and I'm like, I'm never gonna use that thing.
Thank goodness for Cinemark rewards, get me 25% off.
I can put a drink or two inside the Maximus armor.
They also filled them up. I got popcorn with them, so I guess you get, you gotta.
I got a refill, but get some Maximus in me.
Yeah. But no bad.
Yeah, no, I say no bad at all.
Yeah. So we'll hop to our final thoughts and ratings. What do you want to leave off with Gladiator 2, and what do you give it out of 10?
I'll say phenomenal film. Go out and watch it. So if you haven't seen it yet, go watch it. I'm probably going again Sunday to watch it. Yeah. So, nothing I can say really bad about it. I'm not gonna, I really do want to give it a 10 so much, and I honestly, I think I will. I think I'm going to give it a 10.
Okay.
I don't know if it's better than the first, just for nostalgia reasons. It's hard to beat nostalgia.
Yeah.
But I think I gave it out of watching it right out of theater, I was going to give it a 9.5, 10 regardless.
Yeah.
After sitting on it and talking about it, I think it's still a 10 for me.
Yeah, me, you and Brennan kept just looking at each other like every 5 minutes. That's how epic this movie was.
Yeah, it was always something to.
I did like the first one a little bit more. I'm gonna go just flat 9 out of 10 for this one. Some of the historical inaccuracies in the CG. I'm big on practical effects, and so when CGI has moments of lapse, it sticks with me a little harder, I guess. But the CGI for the most part was good. It was just those couple things where I'm like, it doesn't look real.
Right.
And that's just my dad and me, I guess. Because I watched the trailer with my dad, and he's like, "That doesn't look real," and I'm like, "God, I got it from you."
They should have used the CGI just from Jaws.
I know.
They weren't bad. They really weren't that bad. They just. Yeah, they kind of look a little gamey.
Yeah, use the practical effects of Jaws, or it's a movie. We're getting off topic here, but a movie, Shark Night, has pretty good CG sharks.
I don't think I've ever seen.
It's not a good movie, but the sharks look cool.
So I've seen a lot of Shark Side of the Moon. Go watch that. That's pretty bad, but it's a good plot.
Nonetheless, Gladiator 2, man, it was definitely worth the watch. Great theater experience. Epic is the word to use for a movie like this. that'll do it for Gladiator 2. Jesse, thank you for coming on for these movies.
We'll be back sooner.
Oh, for sure.
So there's a lot of movies coming at the end of this year.
We're not waiting until next November. Maybe we get you on for a draft. Yeah, get some drafts going. So, but thank you all for watching. If you like what you're watching, check out some of these other videos. Hit the subscribe button or follow the social links down below. We appreciate any of it, and we will talk to you all soon. Peace.